share this message in 20 minutes. It's not a long message. But I hadn't been preaching on Black history all month. You know, sometimes I just got to flow with what's in my spirit, dealing with what's single. And I'm not going to relegate history to just a month. So we got the rest of the year for me to teach you about history. And I can spend some time in it. Amen. Amen. Don't fool yourself. I can spend some time there, but I've been here in Living Secret. So today we'll switch gears. Since I knew it was a Black history program, let's switch gears. You know, talk about something that relates to what they deal with Black history. I know that'll get your attention. So, amen. I'll give you a minute chance just to sit down. You ain't gonna be able to hit me for a moment. I'm gonna let you digest this for a minute. All right. You got it? All my hearts and minds clear? It's too early to lie. But we're gonna proceed on. Y'all just lying already. Early Sunday morning. Come on. Look at somebody and say, everybody want a black man. Everybody want a black man. Everybody want a black man. Don't tell me, don't say everybody want a black man. There you go. Come on. My church ain't gonna always hang with me. That's one thing. They're gonna roll with me. Rest of y'all be skeptical. They're gonna roll. They're like, I don't know where you going back. We rolling with you. Everybody want a black man. Let me prove my point. The black woman wants a black man. The white woman wants a black man. The police, I'll keep going, wants a black man. The prison wants a black man. Well, let's include everybody. God even wants a black man. Everybody. You ain't gonna find me tearing down the black man too often. I uplift people. That ain't my ministry. That I don't know about it. So, the black man is in demand. Maybe a prophetic statement, but it's some truth. Black man is in demand. Everybody wants to be in great demand. He doesn't know it. Statistics show that Louisiana's prison incarceration is double the world's average. Probably 89% of the incarceration of black males. Everybody wants it for good or bad. Y'all better wake up. Our young boys better wake up too. Let's be on the road. Matthew 27:32. Let's start to move to this. We'll move on. Now as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene. Cyrene is present-day Libya. So all you gotta do is Google the people of Libya and you'll see what they look like. They look just like you. Just put on, you got Google Chrome, just say Libya today, population, Google it. And they're gonna come up looking all the multitudes, just like it is. Same thing. That's what Libya is. Cyrene is actually Libya or North Africa. They found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. Him they compelled to bear the cross. I see it. Direct their attention. Luke says the same thing. A certain man, Simon of Cyrene, same thing, who was coming from the country. On him, they laid the cross. He might bear it after Jesus. Mark tells the same story. He gives more details. Then they compelled a certain man, Simon. Simeon is the Hebrew pronunciation of Simon. Simon of Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus. Mark tells you who he is and specifies some added details so that we can be clear on something about it. So he's the father of Alexander and Rufus, and of course Acts talked about those two particular individuals. As he was coming out of the country, his country, and passing by to bear his cross, the cross of Jesus. Romans 16 gives us Paul's take on Rufus, who we just named as the son of Simon or Simeon. He says in Romans 16, end of the chapter, greet Rufus. So he calls them chosen in the Lord. Say chosen in the Lord. Chosen in the Lord. So Paul is writing a letter of greeting. He said, greet Rufus. That's the son. We just read one of the sons. And they have something on Alexander's web, but I didn't put all of that for the sake of time. Chosen in the Lord. Look what he says. And his mother and mine. He called Rufus mother. Also mine. He identifies it. So Simon, two sons, Rufus and Alexander. And Paul is writing specifically, because the letter was going to Rome, greet Rufus, who's chosen in the Lord, and his mother and mine. He claimed Simon's wife as kind of like his, Christian mom. Greet her son and also his mother. So we understand that this whole family is connected with the Lord. Paul writes, Christians celebrated this particular past group, that these are Christians celebrated by Paul the Apostle. But he made reference to the family. Acts 13, read this for you. Now in the church that was at Antioch, there were certain, what did I have it online? Come on. Prophets and who? Teachers. All right, so in the church at Antioch, which is where they first was called Christians and so forth, he calls them prophets and teachers. And then he names, this is Luke's writing, Paul didn't write Acts. This is written by Luke. So Luke writes, much more in the history here, especially the unfolding of the church. He says, in Antioch then, there were certain prophets and teachers. So he names it. Barnabas, that is Simeon. Simeon is the Hebrew for Simon. Who was also called, white folks want to call it Niger. Now, there's a part in Africa called Niger and all, but that ain't the way y'all pronounce it. So it's amazing when you want to call to a reference Africa, you don't want to say what you say, so you want to change the pronunciation to Niger. But Niger here is really Latin. That's the Latin translation. If you pull up and put in black, B-L-A-C-K, and say translate it to Latin, the Latin gonna translate it negreos, where the Spanish get the Negro, black. So when the Latin translation came, they gave the Latin word. And we didn't want to, say it the way we said, but if you look at the Latin word, negreos, or whatever, when it says, give me the breakdown of the pronunciation, it's N-E-E, G-E-R, Negro. That's the way to do it. But there's so much associated with that, and so they played with how they pronounce it. But the spelling is Niga. Or Nigar, or however you want to, N-E-E-G-E-R. That's how they, but now in Latin, understanding all of the ramifications of history, they even put a twist to it and called it Negreus. That's a sophisticated way of saying the old way. Yes. The end word.
Yes.
Now, it wasn't initially meant to be demeaning. The NIGGR was meant to have a negative stigma with a connotation. It was with a venom. In the original translation of the word, it wasn't venomous. That's just the way it was. But when Europe got into it and understood it, they put a venom in it. It's spoken with a harsh, degrading venom. You know what the Latin, so you get Spanish, Negro, Latin, Negres, so forth. Regular, European, Niger, and if you went to French, it's Noir. All of them deal with the N for black. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Okay. So we're called that. It was pulled from some of that. Anyway, Barnabas, Simeon, who was called Niger, Lucius of Cyrene, Manaen, who had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch, and Saul, who we understand as Paul. Luke names all of the ones who were present in the church of Antioch when this was written. Look what it says. As they ministered to the Lord and fasted, I'll tell you what they're doing. The Holy Spirit said, now separate me, Barnabas and Saul, for the work for which I have called them. Here's the point I want to make, and I got to move on for some. And I'll tell you, those ones I named, I'll put it in the way you can get it. But my point is, this Simon of Cyrene was also part of the team that consecrated Paul, laid hands on him. Paul had been saved, of course, on the road to Damascus, went in the desert for Arabia for some years to receive revelation from God. He's now coming back. I believe I put it up there. And they are already at Antioch fasting and praying, and got a move of God going on, which Paul becomes a part of, and God uses Simeon along with Manaen, Lucius, and of course Barnabas. And ultimately they lay hands on Barnabas and Saul and consecrate them for the missionary journey. And then would God use this black man to actually lay hands on Paul and Barnabas and consecrate them and send them to their first missionary work. That black man.